want to hear the real stars here tonight. And it is my honor and privilege to introduce my friend, Ruth Dupont Esser. Ruth and I first met back in 2010. We're of like mind and like spirit. Ruth believes a lot of the same conservative issues that I do. And I want to turn the mic over to her and let you hear what Ruth has to say. Thank you.
So glad to have you all here. Thank you for coming out. And thank you, Mr. Mike, and thank you, Ms. Teresa. This is wonderful. The first thing I love about this is we have all these forums, and you have to be respectful, and so you can't just throw out everything out there. And people will ask, who's the conservative? Who's the conservative? And unfortunately, sometimes it's hard for you to figure out who they are. And so thanks to this event, they don't have too much trouble figuring that out over here. So, I'm Ruth Dupont Esser. I'm running for County Commissioner for the District 4 seat, which is the Navarre seat. I am your state committee woman with the Republican Party, and I think that's an asset because I have the governor's ear, and there will be times we need that. And so I think that's an asset to us. He appointed me to the Florida Rehabilitation Council, and that's the first time we ever had someone on that council from this side of Tallahassee. And so I think that's also going to be an asset to our area. They have a lot of wonderful programs to help get jobs, to help veterans, and so I'm real excited about what we'll be able to do with our county with that program. I moved here when I was 24 years old. I came here, met the people, fell in love. I left one time for 4 years, went up to Birmingham, went to school at Alabama University to become a med tech. I took every class I could at Gadsden State Community College to try to save a buck, and took what I had to at the other. Did clinicals at St. Vincent's, went to Tulane, and sat for the ASCP, that stands for American Society of Clinical Pathologists. Passed that, got licensed, and I worked at West Florida Hospital for a few years. I was working in cross-matching blood, and decided I became obsessive compulsive because I was scared of the antibody crosses that you had to deal with. And then I started working in microbiology. One of the bugs became meaner than me, and the young lady that was working with me had a mom that spent 6 months in the hospital because she had contacted that bug from her. And so I got concerned. I had children, and I thought, you know what, I can't take that home with me. So I cried a lot, and then I decided I wanted to go into the field of construction. I decided that I wanted to learn how to work up plans and build projects. So I went to like 7 different engineers, one at a time, and I'd hit up each one for a different formula. And I would get them to show me that formula, and I taught myself how to work up plans. And then I started bidding projects. And after 6 months of doing that, I decided I was ready to open a company. So I took $3,000, and I bid a project. And I pulled payments, and I cash flowed like you never saw in your life. And I created a company that by the 3rd year was producing about $4 million a year and had 25 employees. I am a person that likes to take nothing and make something, because that's how it works. Mike, he's perfectly right. Money has to move. As long as it's moving, it's fine. It's when it stops that you got a problem. And so when I look at Santa Rosa County, I look at it not only from the things that I've done, but from the things that I think we could do. That would be an asset to us. So to give you an idea of how I look at it, in East Milton, at Interstate 10 and 87, there's an industrial park that's in there. Bill Pullum built it. Behind it is about $3 million worth of land, someone could say, with a big old hole, about a 9-acre hole in it. That big hole could be a common retention pond. That industrial park, the lots in it are going into foreclosure. There are 6-inch sewer services and there are 1-inch water services. That thing sits on our well fields. We really don't need industrial on our well fields. But if we turned it into commercial, and if we talk to the right people, I've met a lot of developers in my life. There's commercial, there's residential, so you go to the right ones, and you bring an outlet here. If we can get a factory outlet in East Milton, we've changed all of Santa Rosa County. Because now what's going to happen is right now we're a bedroom community, is what they call us. Well, then all of a sudden we've got people from Pensacola, from Crestview, from all over coming to us to spend their dollars. You see, right now we leave and we spend our money on our gas, our lunch, our clothes, and other places. And here we are having to fund ourselves on the taxes on our homes and on our businesses. Well, if we can do this, now we're going to have taxes coming to us we've never had before. It gets better. we will increase traffic going to Navarre. So the mom and pop shops in Navarre will now have people coming to them and buying their products, and yet it's far enough away it won't compete. We will increase people coming here to Milton. So our mom and pop shops here in Milton will have someone to purchase their product. Then it gets better. There's a lambda rail. I don't know how many of you know this, but we have a thing called a lambda rail running through our county. It aligns with the train track, and the reason I know about it is because I signed a contract to put the force main in that goes from the Comfort Inn to around the jail. And when I got done signing that contract, I had a wonderful gentleman come up to me and hand me a piece of paper to sign, and I said, "What's that?" And he said, "You have to sign this or you can't begin construction, and it states that we can put you in prison for a year, and you have to pay $1 million a minute until we fix it if you break this fiber optic line." So I was saying, what on earth do you have in that ground? And so he said, "It's a high-tech fiber optic line. It's the most high-tech fiber optic line in the United States." And it was put in the early 80s. So we cautiously dug up that fiber optic line, and we went well under it. But that fiber optic line could draw companies into our county that are high-tech jobs, high-tech companies that would pay well. I think we need quality of life to get those companies to come. You see, when these men and women are looking at our county and deciding whether or not they want to come here with their companies, they're going to want to have quality of life. If they don't have quality of life, they may not consider us. And so I think that the outlet builds a foundation to draw companies on the lambda rail. And I think all this creates an environment that increases our cash, increases our wealth, increases our quality of life, lowers our tax burden. I think it makes life better for all. It increases our ability to pay our county workers, our police, our firefighters, all of them. And so I just think that if we can think in that manner, is this helping? Are you hearing? Okay. I think if we can think in that manner, then we can build Santa Rosa County, because that's how it happens. There's no such thing as a county that didn't get built. Someone had an idea. People work together. You design. You look at it. You discuss it. You figure out how to finance it. And you take it like blocks from bottom to top. And so I have thoughts like that. I know more about what's in the ground in Santa Rosa County sometimes than I do what's on top of it. And so I think that if we just kind of started thinking in that way, then we could bring finance to our county and just have a wonderful place to work where, guess what? Our kids get to stay. And so we don't have to go visit them in other states anymore. They can choose to stay here. And I think that's the kind of world I'd like to see us try to accomplish. I took and wrote this, and I'm going to read it to you in closing out here. And I'll tell you what it is. Sometimes in the night I'll wake up with words coming through my head. And when I'm smart enough to, I get out the bed and I write them down. And that happened with this. And about a week after I wrote it, Concerned Veterans for America called me and said, "Would you come speak at the beach in Pensacola?" And I said, "Sure, I'll come." And I'm sitting at my house doing, well, what will I be speaking about? What am I going to say? And this came to me. And I think this is an important speech for tonight. My husband was writing home and said, for some reason, when I was playing with my computer, this thing popped up, and I think it popped up for a reason. And this is in my heart as to why I'm running for this seat. Because, yes, I am a person who does know how to help with infrastructure, and yes, that is one of the skills you want your commissioner to have. But I'm not running because of the skills that I have for this seat. I'm running because of the heart that I have for this community and for our country. You see, our country is under attack. And if we don't have conservatives that care, get up and get busy and run for these seats, and if we don't catch the reins of this, we're going to have to explain to our children what America used to be like. We're going to have to apologize to our grandchildren for what we lost. And I think we're going to have to face Jesus and apologize there too, because this country was created by divine intervention. And I think we'll be held accountable if we let it go. So even if it takes our blood, it has taken others. And so we have to do what we have to do. And I normally don't read things. I normally speak off my hip. But this I have to read because otherwise I'll never get you all the words out of it. So here we go. It's called Freedom or Free Stuff. One of our largest problems is created by too many thinking we are entitled to take from our neighbor without feeling a responsibility to equally pitch into the pot, thereby giving our neighbor's goods to a government
with the intention of having those goods passed back to us at no cost to ourselves. The problem is we are choosing between freedom and free stuff, and we can't have both. As we demand our neighbor's stuff be given to our government so that our government can give us stuff, we become more dependent and we cause our government to grow, and as it grows, it requires more to feed itself. Government produces nothing. It feeds off of us. Maybe for a while it will only take our neighbor's goods, but eventually it will also take from each of us. We produce and we give from that production, from that profit, from that slice of what was originally ours to that government. It depends on us to feed, and it grows larger and larger. It eats more and more and becomes richer and stronger, and as it does, we become weaker and poorer. When not kept in check, it acts like a virus feeding on its hosts. Our country is not healthy when its government is top-heavy and overpowering. Our citizens are not free when its government is consuming our rights. Eventually, we become its servant or its slave. Yet we are the creators of that master. Our government is supposed to work for us, to serve us. We are supposed to be our government's master. Its purpose is to bring quality and peace and protection to our lives, not burdensome laws, rules, and debt. A large, overpowering government is always filled with unscrupulous characters looking for someone to use, manipulate, or con. Those characters are the decision makers of the rules that manage and mandate our lives. Those rules will steal from us only to give more to themselves. We thereby end up with politicians that don't respect us rather than statesmen that do. We have a tarnished government, a tarnished country, and painful lives. We're swapping the keys of success for keys of misery. This universe has a strange sense of humor. It tends to allow us to reap what we sow and to call into our heads what we can wish onto others. When we demand of ourselves to deliver our needs for our family and for our government, to protect our rights, we reestablish an accountable self, an accountable government, and a high quality of life. We reestablish freedom and prosperity. We recreate a life that has freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. We reestablish the possibility for wealth, the right to bear arms, the right to respect and to dignity. We reestablish the qualities we call American. We can't waste time with indifference with each other. We need to unite in order to try to bring our country and our lives to a better place. Our freedom has never been something any of us automatically inherit. Our freedom has never been a free, and it has never come with a promise or a guarantee. It is our right to inherit. It is not our right to inherit our freedom. It is our duty to preserve our freedom. We are so blessed to be in a country that was created by the efforts of brave and wise men and women, kissed by God's divine intervention. Rather, while writing the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, or while fighting in the fields of war, our military has always done a remarkable job protecting our country. But it is also the duty of each of us to become educated, aware, informed with the truth, and responsible. No matter how hard our servicemen and women fight, they cannot protect us from ourselves. They can only protect us from our enemies. We cannot allow ourselves to be our enemy. If we are not careful, we will have swapped our freedom while never having admitted that we are the creators of this freedom and of this country. We, the people, are America. Thank you.